So for me, becoming a mom connected me with the world of policy, politics, and advocacy. I started to care about things like sidewalks on my block and school board. So I worked 5 years to get sidewalks on my block. A friend of mine from the PTA ran for school board, and I became his treasurer. Then I became a campaign manager for a school board race. And I combined that with my background in high energy physics, managed to talk APS into giving me a congressional science fellowship. So I had a great year in the United States Senate 2015 to 2016, high rush. That's in Manchester, UK. I'll come back to that conference. So when I finished up my fellowship, I took a job at the British Embassy here in Washington, DC. And when I was doing my fellowship, I didn't even know these kinds of jobs existed. I didn't know this job existed, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some projects that I've done since starting at the embassy in November. So the first one is around partnering. It's a big part of what we do in my team at the embassy. This is a partnering in offshore wind. So the UK is a world leader in the deployment of offshore wind. It has robust clean growth goals, including clean energy, both domestically but also as relates to its foreign policy and diplomacy with other countries, including the US. So the coast of Scotland has the world's largest offshore wind farm, and the UK has expertise in academics, supply chain, operations and maintenance, cabling, connection to the grid, and so on. So this project is around connecting UK expertise into the US to help with deployment of offshore wind in the US. So we paid to bring over 6 British scientists to bring them to the International Partnering Forum for Offshore Wind in Princeton back in April. I set up a bilateral meeting between them and a group of US scientists attending the conference to talk about areas of cooperation and collaboration. So it was a great conversation, and now we're building on that to explore ways that we can add UK expertise into the bidding into a DOE $20 million offshore wind demonstration project. The second project I want to tell you about is a fun one. This one is around partner representation and relationships. So the Office of Congresswoman Kristi Noem reached out to me and said that the Congresswoman wanted to present the British ambassador with a piece of a gold mine in South Dakota. Well, why would the ambassador care about a piece of a gold mine in South Dakota? This is the Large Baseline Neutrino Facility Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, LBNF Dune. It's a neutrino experiment where neutrinos are produced at Fermilab outside Chicago. They're super non-interacting, they're aimed into the earth, and then they're detected in a former gold mine in South Dakota. So the UK, why does the UK care about LBNF Dune? Well, the US and the UK signed a treaty back in September 2017, about a year ago, on joint cooperation in science and technology. And one of the first projects announced under this treaty was LBNF collaboration in LBNF Dune. So the UK bought into the project to the tune of £65 million. So this is Sir Kim Derrick. He is the British ambassador to the United States, and this is Sir Kim Derrick's Bentley that he drives around town in, or whether he gets driven around town in. So one of the awesome things about accompanying the ambassador to a meeting on the Hill is you get to ride in his Bentley, so that was awesome. This is a tweet that Congresswoman Noem tweeted out after the meeting. You can see Sir Kim is holding the piece of the mine, which he's quite proud of, and now has it on his mantle in his office. So this was a fun project, but it also had sort of tangible results. It elevated the profile of science in a busy embassy with an ambassador that has a lot of things that competed for his attention. It fostered a new relationship with Congresswoman Noem, and it highlighted collaboration, US-UK collaboration under the Science and Technology Agreement. The third project I want to tell you about is a visit by the UK Science Minister here in DC back in September. And I kind of framed it as I was responsible for putting together his program. And I kind of thought about it strategically. Who is it important for the British Science Minister to meet when he's in Washington, D.C.? So this is him, Sam Jima, MP. So he was here in September for a day and a half. It takes some knowledge of the U.S. government, the U.S. Agencies, their priorities, the administration, their priorities, the Hill and their priorities, as well as the UK. So this is the minister's portfolio. the knowledge of the UK's sort of strategy was important. The UK released an industrial strategy last fall, which is around how to grow their economy into the future. There are 4 grand challenges laid out in the strategy, and they're underpinned by science and tech. So this formed a lot of the strategy around deciding on the minister's program. We had a great day and a half full of meetings. He's a big tweeter. Here's some of his tweets about it. We met at the National Space Council, the Library of Congress. There are some UK-funded humanities fellows that do research at the Library of Congress, so he met with them. The director of NIST, Dr. Walter Copan, and Senator Coons also was in that picture. But I'm particularly proud of sort of the meetings that I put forward. I have these sort of not-so-secret agendas to raise the profiles of some awesome US government agencies in London and the UK, including NIST and ARPA-E. And so we have some great action items and follow-up to those meetings that I'm really excited about. So as a result, I felt like we raised the profile of these 2 important US agencies in the UK government. We built opportunity for future collaboration and highlighted the US science officer to an important decision maker in the science community in the UK. So this is my Twitter handle and LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. I'm really grateful for the fellowship. It gave me tangible skills that allowed me to get this job. My boss is the British Science Advisor, and he knew about the fellowship, so there was kind of a shorthand there when I was applying and interviewing for the job. During my fellowship, I spent some professional development money to go to a conference in the UK, so that helped too. So thank you very much.